Welcome back everyone. Time to do another comparison this time around between the newly released Apple Watch SE and the Apple Watch Series 5. Now, I did a quick comparison not too long ago, but I figured I might as well do a full comparison between these two. And this is what's very interesting between them because there are a lot of similarities. There's mostly similarities. There are maybe a couple of differences for the most part, but I think the biggest thing that's going to come down between both of these would probably come in the form factor of the price tag when they initially released. So as you guys may know, when the Apple Watch Series 5 came out, that was, the most expensive watch that Apple was making because it was the only watch Apple was making beyond the Apple Watch Series 3 since they did discontinue the Apple Watch Series 4. And when the Apple Watch SE came out, the base model of this one costs $279, which is far cheaper than the $399 for the base model for the Apple Watch Series 6. So that's another major thing to keep in mind. When it comes down to both of these, you're definitely going to be finding, a better price per dollar standpoint from a brand new Apple Watch SE than a brand new Apple Watch Series 5. However, Apple Watch Series 5s you can't necessarily buy brand new, so you may be able to find one on eBay or Amazon for cheaper than that. And if I find any on Amazon that are cheaper than the SE, I'll leave a link down in the description below. But regardless, I'll leave both of these linked down in the description below. For the cheapest prices that I find on Amazon, you can get them from there and help support the channel at the same time. Now, starting off with the front panel, they are almost exactly the same for the most part. They both have the 40mm design and the 44mm design as well. So you can pick whichever size you want. If you like the smaller display, get the smaller one. If you like the larger one, you can get that one. Me personally, I'm kind of in the middle. I like both for the most part, but maybe I like the top tier model, the 44mm one, but still the 40mm one is good too. And really when it comes down to everything else, the display, the design, the brightness and everything is exactly the same. There is one pretty big difference when it comes down to the panel though, and that is with the always on display. The Apple Watch Series 5 does support the always on display, where the Apple Watch SE does not support it. Now, does it matter to a lot of people? That really just depends. Are you somebody who glances over at your watch a lot when you're sitting down and you don't really look at it, but it's like, you're on an armchair and you just kind of glance at it? If that's somebody like you, then having that always on display option, it does kind of help you out in the long run. Now, obviously you can disable this if you want to within the settings and save some battery life, but if that is something that's a really big important feature to you, then the Apple Watch SE may not be, the one you automatically go for. Maybe the Apple Watch Series 5 is the one you end up going for, because it does end up having that always on display. So that is something immediately that you should look at, determine whether you want it or not, and that is really one of the major features, difference between these two. They both have the same crowns on the side. They both have pretty much the same backlight as well on the back side, so charging, everything's exactly the same. So really when it comes down to everything else, they're both built the same, they both feel the same in the hand, but the always on display is pretty much the biggest difference when it comes down to the outside. Now you do have the ECG certification on the Apple Watch Series 5, so that's a pretty big thing. The Apple Watch SE, as far as I know, doesn't have it, but you also have the 50-meter water resistance as well on both. So if you dip these in water, you should be good for the most part, but sometimes, I'd still recommend staying away from water, but you do have that capability on both as well, which is really, really awesome. So when it comes down to the outside, that really pretty much covers it up for the most part. Now hitting on the software, this is where it's kind of interesting on both. So on the Apple Watch Series 5, it came out last year, and you would probably assume because of that, the Apple Watch SE may actually end up lasting longer than the Apple Watch Series 5. But the way Apple actually pushes out software updates are usually the chipsets within these devices. So for example, with the Apple Watch Series 5, it has the Apple S5 chip inside of it. With the Apple Watch SE, also has that Apple S5 chip inside of it as well. So that's another major thing you have to kind of look at both of them. If you're getting the Apple Watch Series 5 or you're getting the Apple Watch SE, they both are going to be kind of lasting the same amount of time. When it really comes down to it, you're going to be getting pretty much the same amount of software release cycles on both, and pretty much day one updates on both as well. And I would say, as in terms of the longevity of both of them, they're probably going to be lasting the same amount of time when it comes down to the software updates. So that's another pretty big thing to keep in mind. I'm not going to sit here and say it's 100% of a chance, but most probably however long the Apple Watch Series 5 lasts is probably how long the Apple Watch SE lasts, and vice versa. So it could mean that Apple, pushes out an extra update for the Apple Watch Series 5. I think that would be really cool and quite possibly a thing they would do, but you just never know at this point. But that's kind of what I would assume. So when it comes down to the software updates, that really pretty much covers it up. And performance wise, I mean, they're going to be the exact same performance as well. They have the S5 chip. Both these devices are extremely fast. Whatever you're going to do with it is going to be extremely fine. Even my Apple Watch Series 6 with that S6 chip inside of it, that's an extremely fast device too. But even me, when I go through day by day and I use it and I look at it, like there's really not that big of a difference between the performance, even from a Series 4. Now, if you're comparing them side by side and everything, like yeah, you're going to probably find a bigger difference. But even then, I didn't really find too crazy of a difference. They're both extremely fast devices. You know, it can get you from point A to point B. If you're somebody who's constantly doing a lot of texting from your watch and you're looking at things and you're typing things in all the time, then I don't even think it really matters between, you know, you get the SE or Series 5. I think at that point, it just matters whether you get the smaller size or the bigger sized watch. If you're somebody, like I said, who's typing a lot, maybe you would prefer a bigger size display. So getting that 44mm one may be the better way to go. But if you get that 40mm one, that'll also work for a lot of people out there. So performance wise, like I stated before, is going to be pretty much identically the same when it comes down to it. So when it comes down to the performance, that pretty much covers it up. Now, ending it off with the battery life, these two things have, you know, around 300 milliamp hour batteries for the bottom tier models, and you know, the bigger size models have a little bit bigger size battery. But I will tell you, you know, 100% of the fact, these two things are probably going to have, you know, the same size batteries. But I think what it really comes down to is that always on display. On that Apple Watch Series 5, if you have that always on display, always on, that can technically mean that the battery life is going to go down faster than if you had it on the SE, you know, because the SE doesn't have an always on display. So that's another really big thing to keep in mind. You know, I think when it comes down to the actual display on the Apple Watch Series 5 and SE and all that, they're exactly the same. So the battery life is going to be taken down exactly the same exponentially. But on that Series 5, with that always on display, that's probably going to take it down a little bit faster than you may expect it. So kind of expect that battery life to be a little bit worse than the SE. But if you turn off that always on display, then they're both almost going to be exactly the same for sure. So to pretty much sum up this video and to answer the question, you know, should you pick up the Apple Watch Series 5? Should you pick up the Apple Watch SE? I will tell you, if you currently own the Series 5, 100% keep it. If you currently own the SE, 100% keep it. I would not necessarily go from one of these watches to the other one. Both of these are like 95% similar. Really, the main differences are the ECG things as well as the always on display. Other than that, they're almost exactly the same watches. And I truly believe they're probably going to be getting the same exact software release cycle as well. Now, if you're planning on getting a brand new Apple Watch, getting the Apple Watch SE is really the main option that you have. You really don't have too many other options when it comes down to it. I really hate to say that because, you know, I really do think that the Apple Watch SE is a great device. And I really do think the Apple Watch Series 5, if you can get it cheaper, is a great device as well. But you just can't find those many Series 5s for sale right now because, you know, a lot of them are either open boxes or it's like the last discounts that, you know, that people are trying to give out for now. You know, I think it's not a long-term thing. So having a consistent watch always there. So if you're watching this video now or 5 months later, you can always pick up the Apple Watch SE. With the Apple Watch Series 5 may not actually be an option for you. So I think that really pretty much covers it up for the most part. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section below. If you guys want to pick up these watches, like I stated, links will also be down in the description. Hit the like button if you guys enjoyed the video, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count. So it means so much if you guys can hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.